Whoa, it's a beautiful day to do these reactions, man. Listen, like it before you light it, hit the sub before you hit the bud, join the team before you hit the green. Dog, sometimes it really be your own people, bro. It really be the people closest to you that's doing you the dirtiest. The Akaash Singh situation just got worse.
I don't even want to say his name, but this loser whose name you said, like, he was on the Flagrant podcast like 5 years ago, and my husband just humbled the shit out of him and basically embarrassed him because he was like, I think what you do is corny and it's not really helping men. So there's that. I mean, this obviously goes without saying, but the misogyny was like really crazy because obviously we know it exists in our society, but to see it so rampant and like full force and just like unapologetically there, his comedy fans are not like that. It's more the podcast fan base that I don't think really resonate with him because a lot of them are like really racist and right wing. I think like those of them are more like that. But yeah, anyways, I said like those peripheral fans, like they might come at us just because we're brown girls being opinionated and they don't like opinionated women.
I don't know, man. It might be just because you had your husband out there looking foolish and stuff. He went to the world saying how much of a virtuous woman you were, and then you got on a camera and basically destroyed any argument that he had about you being virtuous and, you know, that kind of shit. That possibly could be what it is.
Just when you thought the Akaash Singh situation couldn't get any worse, his wife is back. He's still missing though. If you haven't been following, Akaash, the co-host of the Flagrant podcast with Andrew Schultz, has been getting absolutely destroyed online for the last few months, and it's all because of his wife, Jasleen. She started a podcast with a friend, said some of the wildest shit imaginable about her dating history, her relationship with Akaash, her obsession with her friend's husband's cock, who she wanted to have a threesome with, and basically turned Akaash into the biggest joke in the comedy podcast world overnight. Myron from Fresh and Fit, who Akaash had been beefing with for years, went to town on him after Akaash tried to put him in his place years ago.
Hey, and Lord knows Myron ain't got no room to be talking, bro. Your girl left you for a damn rollerblader, bro. You know, a nigga that skates on 7th Street and 6th Street in Miami with his shirt off and shit on rollerblades, man. That's diabolical, bro. And she doesn't sleep with you and openly said she didn't sleep with you. I don't know, you a close second, if anything.
Ago by shitting on the red pill community and using his pure and wholesome wife to flex on them. But then after Jasleen continued with her humiliation ritual, stuck the knife in deeper and twisted it, Flagrant tried to address it in what I called the worst episode in Flagrant history, where Jasleen came on the show, rewrote her own history in real time, blamed everything on being misunderstood, and somehow, someway...
Man, that's 42 Doug. Who that was?
Blamed everything on being misunderstood, and some...
Man, 42 Doug, bro. That's crazy. Hey, man, no lie. I seen the dude hooping not that long ago, bro. He decent hooper to say he, 4'7".
Somehow, someway, left Akaash looking even worse than before. At that point, Akaash was done. You guys voted him the lolcow of the year for 2025 on this channel.
Damn.
And the only sensible thing for Jasleen to do was disappear, stop talking, and hope everyone would forget about the whole thing when Akaash finally came back from tour.
Damn.
But no, she can't even do that, because just like every other attention-seeking influencer who gets caught out, she physically cannot cope without the spotlight. Instead of disappearing, she popped up on a brand new podcast this week to clear the air, and somehow in the space of 1 hour managed to make everything worse again. Except this time she's not just humiliating Akaash, she's going after his audience, his fans, and anyone who dared to criticize her.
Hey, bro, at the end of the day, dog, if I was Akaash, bro, I'd really be like, say, man, look, we got a good thing going here. I'm making a lot of money. You messing up the bag. You trying to be a podcast and all that kind of stuff. You suck. You're not good at it. You got 7 videos out with 2,000 plus things, subs on there, which is cool. I'm not knocking that. But what I'm saying is for her to have close proximity to Akaash and for everybody to know who she is, she should have more subs than what she have. That lets me know that she ain't talking about nothing on this podcast, and all she is doing is being a boy, I was about to say a disability. I was about to say disability, what I meant to say liability, and not an asset.
This is some wild shit you're about to see. I can't even get a fucking day off this week. Anyway, here's the thing with Jasleen. She has this completely confused identity where she flips between being authentic and tongue-in-cheek, depending on whatever suits her argument at the time. 1 minute she's the trad wife who takes care of her husband and supports him however she can, and the next, she's the empowered woman who can say whatever she wants, and then 5 minutes later she's the victim of a coordinated misogynistic hate campaign full of paid bots and comments. Yep, she's gone full Whitney Cummings here. By the way, this might actually be worse than that flagrant episode.
My question, because I've never gotten to ask somebody who was really on the receiving end of the internet in that to that scale, like you were, how did you feel? Like it was like a slow burn, but it really wasn't. It was like a firestorm. Like I had people hitting me, like, yo, what do you think?
Yeah.
Right?
It feels weird and it feels surreal because you're like, but you don't know me. You don't know anything about me. You've never talked to me. Like, you're taking the intention of this video in the complete wrong way. And I mean, this obviously goes without saying, but the misogyny was like really crazy because obviously we know it exists in our society, but to see it so rampant and like full force and just like unapologetically there, I was like, oh my God, like this is a real fucking thing. And it's like, it was bizarre to me because I'm like, my husband can go on stage and literally has a joke in his special about like getting a hooker isn't like cheating, it's just outsourcing, which I really don't care. Like, I think it's a funny joke, but it's like, if I say something that's equally, raunchy, like, then I'm a whore or all these things.
Now, let me say this. The reason why your husband can get away with it is similar to the same reason why a rapper who is in a relationship can say, we smashing all these bitches and we doing all this kind of stuff, because people are taking it at face value and it's like, he's probably really not doing that. Or we look at it like, all right, well, he the breadwinner, he the one that's bringing in the bacon, and you kind of just got to follow suit. But in your case, you're literally nobody, and you're telling us things about yourself that we should not know, that is, and you could hurt your husband's brand. That doesn't add to the pile of money that he's already bringing in. You're doing damage. And that's the thing. You're not an entertainer. You're not a comedian. You don't know how to do this tastefully to the point where we won't look at your husband like he is a simp, or like your husband is not running his campaign the way it's supposed to be ran. You're hurting him. That's the difference. Who are you? Nobody knows who. Come on, man. If you wasn't married to Akaash, you wouldn't be known. And that's why it's not cool for you to do it.
When it's like, but the reality is what the reality is. It's like, I was a virgin when I met my husband. We lost our virginity to each other.
Really?
And I never made that a part of my identity. I only shared that because I share my life story because I'm an oversharer. Y'all made it a part of my identity and then used it against me. I don't give a fuck if I was a virgin or I wasn't, or if my body count was 100, but it wasn't. Those are just facts. So if you want to take like tongue-in-cheek videos and make it into something it's not, like, that's not really a reflection of me, that's a reflection of them.
So I'm supposed to believe you went to college and you said you was popping it and busting it open. I'm supposed to believe that there wasn't at least one drunken night when one of those frat boys got and penetrated through the armor. I'm supposed to believe that, bro. And then you hang out with all them white girls and they the most liberated women in the damn world, and you know how they be feeling sometimes, especially on college campuses and things of that nature. And you talking about all of this femininity and all of this feminist movement shit. I don't know, man. I'm not buying it. That's what I'm saying.
All right, let me break this logic down for all of you who don't speak influencer cringe. You don't know me. You've never talked to me. You're taking the intention of this video in the completely wrong way. She's basically saying, love me, celebrate me, watch all my shit, follow me, give me all of your attention, But the second it backfires, you don't know me, you don't understand the real me, you're just taking it wrong straight out of the Joe Rogan playbook. Which is it? Because by her own admission, she doesn't even know the intention of her own videos half the time. She said repeatedly that she was being tongue-in-cheek, she was being authentic, she was trying to be funny, she was just trying to share her life. She cycles through these justifications like a suburban housewife who just got caught cheating on a fucking Wednesday afternoon. And now we get the misogyny card. This is some A-grade copium from someone who completely embarrassed herself, humiliated her husband in front of millions of people, and instead of taking responsibility and quietly disappearing, she just had to come back with somebody else to blame. She's comparing herself to Akaash being able to go on stage as a comedian and say whatever he wants, and she's saying that when she tries to do the same thing on her random podcast that nobody asked for, it's somehow because of misogyny that nobody got the joke.
Yeah, I believe that. Dog, I'm the type of person, bro, man or woman, meaning you could be my boy, you could be my friend, my partner, or you could be my girlfriend or my wife. Embarrass me one time in front of some people, and I'm going to show your ass. That's one thing I don't tolerate, dog. Don't make me the butt of no joke. Don't make me look less than. None of that shit in front of some people, bro. When we out, we a unit. We don't play all that goofy shit, man. No, indeed. Play with me one time in front of people and I feel some type of way, dog. I promise you, dog. There will be consequences and repercussions. That's the type of person I am. I don't like to feel played by people that I know in front of other people, dog. Like, if we want to make a joke, if you want to say some shit, it better be behind closed doors. I'm telling you. Because if you got motherfuckers laughing at me and looking at me stupid, that's one of my pet peeves. That's one thing I really can't get. Boy, I can let a lot of shit slide, but that's not one of them, bro. I be damn near ready to fight you in front of these people. I got to work on that, y'all.
She's not a comedian. What the fuck is she even talking about? The sheer entitlement from her thinking that she can just jump in front of a camera and talk shit into a microphone and somehow everyone should laugh and celebrate her unconditionally is some elite level mental gymnastics. And then she drags up the whole virginity thing again. I never made that a part of my identity. Seriously, nobody cares. It was your husband who was using it as a flex for years, and then you were the one who came out with all that content completely contradicting Akaash's characterizations of you, apparently for the laughs that nobody laughed at, or were you being authentic? Oh, that's right, it's because of the misogyny.
And bro, that's a flex for a man, bro, and you really ruined that for that man because nobody believes you was a virgin when y'all got together no more, like, period. Akaash used to be able to say that with like a level of confidence, man, a level of just, I know that my wife was pure when I met her. And then you came and undone that. That hurts a man, bro. Fellas, if you watching this video, dog, if your girl told you was a virgin, you married her, you pedestalized her, you're showing her on Instagram, the love of my life, my better half, all this kind of shit, right? And then 3-4 niggas come out the woodwork and say that they slept with your wife while in college, right? Now, I'm not saying nobody did that to her, but doesn't that really lower your value in her all of a sudden? Because it's not like 4 niggas is like this insane amount of bodies, but it's the fact that you thought that was a brand new product. That's like buying going to a dealership, them telling you that the car is brand new with no miles on it, only to find out that they swapped the engine that had 200,000 miles on it. I mean, that the engine that didn't have no miles on it and actually sold you something that had, 200,000 miles on it. You're not going to be happy with that purchase, dog. You're going to have buyer's remorse. And that's what Akaash is dealing with.
This whole thing is just unnecessarily messy and absolutely nobody asked for any of it. Akaash and his wife did all of this to themselves, and yet somehow after all of that, she still manages to find somebody else to blame.
No accountability.
People don't realize, like, I don't even want to say his name, but this loser whose name you said, like, he was on the Flagrant podcast like 5 years ago, and my husband just humbled the shit out of him and basically embarrassed him because he was like, I think what you do is corny. and it's not really helping men. So there's
Wait,
that.
who's she talking about?
And I think every year he would try to like bait them by being like, oh, you guys are pussies or you guys are this. But then every year that clip would circulate. And I think deep down, it really embarrassed and humiliated and emasculated him. So when all of this first started, it was like very clear to see that there was like a lot of bot farming as well. And I could tell there were bots because like the 1,500 followers I gained on Instagram, I immediately lost like within the span of 2 months. So it was like up and then down. And then like all the nastiest comments on my Instagram videos I didn't even delete. Like a month later, it was all no, 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 no. So it was like, it was starting to become clear that there were like a lot of bots, which is funny because they say very racist things against Indians and South Asians, but like that's where you get your bots. Yeah. And there was something else I was going to say, but I think that's why people were saying, oh, it's PR, it's PR. Like I would never, and my husband would never like have to do anything for PR. Like all of the traffic I got was organic before that. So I think he had like a score to settle, but instead of like doing it like a man, he did it like a little bitch and like came at me. So, which I never really thought anyone would do, because it's also like, if you have a certain like ideal of like, you don't want women working and you don't want that, like, wouldn't I fit your ideal? Like I'm relying on my man to provide for me. So I don't know. I just, a lot of their logic
Well, you broke the rule for the simple fact you engaged with the enemy, right? You engaged with your husband's enemy, and that's not your place as your husband's wife. And I'll put it to you like this. If I'm in the streets and my girl witnesses me having a debacle, if you will, with another young African-American male, and the shit is getting heated, right? And I'm saying things about him, he's saying things about me, and he sees my wife over there, right? Minding her business, doing her whole thing. But I little boyed him. I made him look like a hoe. Right. And then later on, my wife gets on my girl gets on the internet and she's popping her shit and saying some things that would contradict things that I was telling this man. That's ammo for him now. Now he can get up there on the platform and say all kind of stuff. Man, you was saying this, that, and the third when we was having our little back and forth. But what your bitch said, nigga? You giving niggas ammunition to come back at me. And that's what you did when you said that shit. Because now that same dude who Akaash was calling a loser and corny, he has ammunition against Akaash all of a sudden. You just help the enemy out, dog. It's best that you just stay off the internet and don't further damage your husband's brand.
It's backwards to me. But yeah, the whole experience was like very weird and unsettling.
Jasleen accusing anyone of using backwards logic is absolutely incredible. Like, I cannot believe she just said that with a straight face. And she's not even trolling anymore. She's being 100% serious. She's trying to clear the air here. She seriously thinks that she's a trad wife, and she can't understand why she isn't being celebrated for being the good wife who supported her husband when he was a broke comic. So let me get this straight. She's accusing Myron of humiliating and emasculating Akaash, so her response was to take it even further. What kind of fucking logic is that? Because whatever Myron did to Akaash, it doesn't come close to what Jasleen's done to him on her own podcast and everywhere else she's been talking. Talking about her friend's husband's dick, lusting over other men, acting like Akaash's sole purpose is to buy her Gucci handbags and pay for her overpriced Pilates membership. The man was humiliated by you, not by Myron, by the woman sitting right next to him. And of course... oh, jeez.
So you gave a cornball ass nigga like Myron ammunition against your husband, dog. Oh my God. And you know Myron gonna take it far. You know he is. He gets off on being sensational, being controversial, hated. He gets a hard on about being hated, bro. And you gave that man ammunition. Just not very bright.
Then she blames the bots. The reason she lost 1,500 Instagram followers is apparently because of a coordinated bot farming campaign. Bitch, nobody knows who you are. It couldn't possibly be that she was the hot topic for 15 minutes when everyone was trashing Akaash for being a cuck, and all those people followed her out of morbid curiosity and then bounced as soon as the drama died down. Did she really think she was pulling off some viral social media growth strategy by humiliating her husband? That's some crazy copium. She's turning into a cringier version of Whitney Cummings, if that's even possible. And now the only move left is to go full Joe Rogan and blame the mentally ill haters in the comments.
Oh, Lord.
discussing this topic with real people, have had real nuanced conversations about the topic as a whole.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's probably more indicative of like the real world than a comment section that's being paid for and bought out.
Yeah.
And you just eating it up.
But I don't think people that are like regular internet users understand the extent to which it happens, and also how mentally unwell the comment section has become and what a cesspool it has become. And like, I will just be scrolling on Instagram and just see someone, like I saw the other day, this girl was like, oh, trying to become a model or something, or trying to get scouted as a model. And the first comment is like, yeah, but your face card isn't there. And it's like, who in their mind thinks like, this is what I want to write, like, to ruin this person's day because it'll make me feel better. Like, I personally...
Now, that's the only thing that does make a little sense, because I kind of feel the same sentiment, bro. Like, sometimes I'll go through the comment section and, you know, sometimes you run to the comment section because the person just says something salacious and is stupid and is ignorant, and you just want to see them get cooked, and it's rightfully deserved. But sometimes it could be a positive message and the messenger isn't too easy on the eyes, and then people in the comment section will go ham on that person. See, I don't agree with that. I think usually those people are losers. They're hateful people. They don't got nothing to live for, so they just, you know, hurt people, right? So in certain situations, I agree with her, but man, I don't know.
There's a lot of celebrities I don't like. I've never gone out of my way to publicly comment, whether it's on mine or a burner. I don't even have a burner. So it's like, you have to think.
Even if it's mine or a burner. I don't even have a burner. I don't know. Doesn't sound like you don't have a burner all of a sudden. And you're not a celebrity, man.
Think about like the severity of someone's mental health, that this makes them feel better.
All right, so this is where it gets really good. The analogy she used of the aspiring model on Instagram is so hypocritical, it's almost art. She's saying, what state of mind do you have to be in to go out of your way to comment on someone's post just trying to humiliate them? This is the woman who repeatedly humiliated her own husband 100 times worse for absolutely no reason. Like, we're still trying to figure out why she did this. She didn't go after some random celebrity on Instagram. She did it to the man she's married to on camera multiple times. And she actually said the quiet part out loud there. She said that people who leave nasty comments do it because this makes them feel better. Every accusation is a confession with this woman, because that's exactly what she's been doing this entire time, making content at her husband's expense because it makes her feel better. It gets her attention, it gets the clicks, it gets her invited onto podcasts to clear the air. Forget going out of her way to publicly comment on celebrities, she did it to her own husband because, in her own words, this is what makes me feel better. But the worst part of all of this is actually so much more serious than the hypocrisy. Shout out Norm. She's coming back out of hiding to do a fresh interview, supposedly to clear the air, and in the process, she takes a massive dump on the very people who are paying her bills.
Bro, it gets to a point where, like, if you are somebody in the limelight, you're known, right? Content creator, comedian, actor, athlete, whatever, bro. And this go for man or woman, honestly, bro. It gets to a point where you got to tell these people, like, bro, listen, we got a good thing going here. The money is A1. Everything copacetic. Just play your position. Don't let nobody trick you out your position. And just let me bring home this money and you stay looking good the way you looking good. Do the thing that you've been doing. But it comes to a point where I feel like they almost have like this sense of resentment or jealousy or shit, if he could do it, I could do it. You know? And then they want to get on these podcasts and all this kind of stuff and try to get a slice of that and be relevant like their spouse or their significant other is, when they should just play the background. Because if that was your calling, you would have already been doing it. You would have already been doing it independent of these people before you met them.
I'm talking about the people who watch Flagrant and support them on Patreon.
I think what happened was that we went through controversy so quickly into it that it kind of like put a strain on the friendship, because also like our content was very different in this. Like, mine was definitely a lot more raw and unfiltered, and hers was a little bit more polished. I remember her saying, though, in Paris, she was like, my biggest fear is getting canceled. And I remember telling her, I was like, I just want to let you know, like, I know the periphery of Akaash's fan base, which is I will say more of the podcast fan base. And I know a lot of people during like our controversy were saying like, oh, it's because of his fans. It's because of his fans. Like his comedy fans are not like that. It's more the podcast fan base that I don't think really resonate with him, because a lot of them are like really racist and right wing. I think like those of them are more like that. But yeah, anyways, I said like those peripheral fans, like they might come at us just because we're brown girls being opinionated and they don't like opinionated women.
That's the best you can come up with, ma'am.
How many cards can she pull in the same interview? First, she was the misunderstood trad wife who was just trying to support her husband, by completely ruining his comedy career. Then she pulled out the misogyny card because apparently criticizing a woman who publicly humiliated her own husband is the same as hating all women. And now she's pulling the race card and the sexist card. She's labeling Flagrant's own podcast audience as really racist and right-wing. She's saying that the people who don't like what she believes as and the sexist card. She's labeling Flagrant's own podcast audience as really racist and right-wing. She's saying that the people who don't like what she did are just brown girl hating bigots who can't handle an opinionated woman. She ain't leaving a stone unturned here.
You know what's crazy? A lot of them dudes probably would love to be with a brown woman. Dead ass serious, bro. Like, you'll be surprised. I doubt that's the reason, ma'am.
Let me just be real clear about what's happening. This is Akaash Singh's wife going on a podcast and publicly calling the audience of her husband's own show racist. The show that pays for the Gucci, the Chanel, the Pilates, the fucking vacations, the whole princess treatment lifestyle that she cannot shut up about. She is actively torching the people who fund her entire existence. And she's doing it with a smile on her face because she thinks that she's the victim in all of this. She's blaming Myron, she's blaming the bots, she's blaming the misogynists, she's blaming the racist, she's blaming the right-wing podcast fans, she's blaming everyone and everything except herself. Meanwhile, Akaash is nowhere to be seen, and that's the saddest part here. The man has essentially gone quiet, probably hoping this would all blow over, while his wife keeps coming back for more, pulling every card in the fucking deck and dragging his name through the mud with every single interview she does. I said it in my last...
This is just like Jada Pinkett, bro. No matter what, dog. As soon as we start to forget them shit, she come out and say some dumb shit again.
Video, and I'll say it again. Akaash Singh is the new Will Smith, except at least Will Smith's wife had the decency to do it to his face on her own show. Jaslene's out here doing a media tour, pulling all the stops. This didn't have...
Sometimes I low-key feel like I'm like communicating with these YouTubers that I react to via telepathy or some shit, because I just be knowing shit and then they go right into it, dog. I swear to God.
To be like this. All she had to do was nothing, literally nothing. Stop talking, stop going on podcasts, stop trying to clear the fucking air, because every time you open your mouth, we can all smell your breath. But she won't stop, because this was never about defending Akaash or clearing up misunderstandings. This is about Jasleen simply needing attention. And don't forget, she's not making any money out of this.
Exactly.
In fact, she's actually costing her husband big money by going after his own audience.
See what I'm saying, bro? That's what I said. Shut up. Let your husband get to the bucks. Let's get into these comments, man. I would feel bad for Akaash if his whole stand-up wasn't based on shitting on other relationships when he's in his own hell. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Very interesting right there, sir. I thought Akaash was an NPC that didn't boot up unless Andrew needed a laugh track. See, I don't know too much about Akaash. I've never seen one of his stand-up bits. Whatever. Never go full Whitney Cummings. Me reading the title, still, click. Oh, shit. Here we go again. I'm looking for I just pulled out of Akaash's wife to watch this comment. Oh, wow. We need to put a 600% tariff on all podcast equipment. This shit is making the entire world dumber. It makes me cringe to watch her avoid his kisses. She be avoiding a man kisses? Man, nah, y'all lying to me. Akaash Singh's wife avoids his kiss. I gotta see it.
I look good, Mr. Armstrong. Armstrong.
What I told y'all earlier, a woman got one time to do that shit. Do it. See what happens. I ain't bullshitting, boy. I don't give a fuck how much I like your ass. You ain't finna play with me like this. Who the hell do you think you are? Most importantly, who do you think I'm not? Crazy.
You
I've never
on
seen
Saturday
these
when I
videos.
saw her. I said, Daria, do you know? And she said, I don't know anything. I don't know anything.
She's a good liar.
Then she's a good liar.
That's a friend that
Yeah, that girl was not no virgin when she met you. Allegedly, sir. I'm just saying that. It's just using my wisdom of all of my years on life. I would not be gambling on the idea of her being a virgin at the time of y'all's wedding. I would never. Nope. Never. Guys, hope y'all enjoyed this video. Hype this bitch up. I need a hype like a crackhead need a pipe.